السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. معكم أخوكم عبد اللطيف العرفج. اليوم راح أحل وياكم مادة Calculus 1 Chapter 2 Limits and Continuity. راح نشرح Section 2.2 Limit of a Function and Limit Laws. Hello, my name is Abdul Latif Al-Arfaj. I'm gonna explain today the subject of Calculus 1 Chapter 2 Limits of Continuity. I'm gonna explain Section 2.2 Limits of a Function and Limit Laws. السؤال 26. For the function f of x graphed here, find the following limits, or if they do exist, give your reason. السؤال يقول أن عندنا دالة في الجراف في الرسمة هذه، تمام؟ يبينا نوجد النهاية حقت كل معطى في السؤال، ويبي يشوف هل النهاية موجودة أو غير موجودة. السؤال الأول A limit لما x تؤول إلى صفر f of x كم تساوي؟ طيب، هل هذا السؤال يحتاج إننا نوجد limit لما x تروح للصفر من اليمين ومن اليسار؟ إيش معنات هذا الكلام؟ معناته إن limit لما x تروح للصفر، مثلا نجرب في البداية من اليسار. هنا يا طويل العمر والسلامة راح نوجد الدالة f of x لما تؤول إلى الصفر من اليسار. We want to find the limit of x when it's approaching zero from the left. هذه عندنا الصفر، حلو. إذا كانت هذه عندي الصفر، أنا بجي من اليسار، معناته بمشي من هنا إلى هنا. أنا وصلت هنا عند الصفر. x when it's approaching zero from the left، x لما تؤول إلى الصفر من اليسار، f of x بتساوي فعلا صفر. limit لما x تؤول للصفر من اليمين، f of x كم تساوي؟ من بداية الدالة من اليمين، من هنا إلى هنا، وصلنا هنا عند الصفر. limit when x is approaching zero من اليمين، f of x will equal to zero. limit لما x تؤول للصفر من اليمين، f of x بتساوي صفر. So when limit x approaching zero from the left is equal to limit when x is approaching zero from the right, which is equal to zero, then the limit of x when it is approaching zero from the right and the left is equal, so limit equal to zero. سؤال B. Limit when x is approaching 1, f of x is equal to what? Okay. نفس حل السؤال الأول, same as the solution of the question A. We will solve it as we wanna find the right-handed limit and the left-handed limit, the limit from the right and the left. So we will start for limit when x is approaching 1 from the left, from negative infinity. What's the solution of f of x? Okay, حنا بنجي من سالب ما لا نهاية. We will come from negative infinity. The function is decreasing until negative 2 here. Until this point, negative 2. الدالة تناقصية إلى الدالة تناقصية إلى سالب 2. So limit when x approaching 1 from the left, it will be negative 2. Limit لما x تؤول إلى الواحد من اليمين, we have limit when x approaching 1 from the right, y will equal to 0 at this point. Limit when x approaching 1 from the right, f of x will be 0. So limit x when it's approaching 1 from the left is not equal with limit when x is approaching 1 from the right. So limit when x is approaching 1, f of x equals does not exist. حنا عندنا قاعدة, إذا كانت النهاية من اليمين لا تساوي النهاية من اليسار, فإن النهاية غير موجودة. We have a rule, if the limit from the left is not equal to the limit from the right, then the limit does not exist. Question C, limit when x is approaching 2 f of x equals limit لما x تؤول إلى الاثنين f of x كم تساوي. This is 2. When we find the limit when x is approaching 2 from the left, we will find that it comes toward y equal 1. It comes toward y equal 1. So f of x equals 1. Limit when x is approaching 2 from the right, f of x equals 1, y equal 1. So limit when x approaching 2 from the right, f of x equals 1. So since we have limit when x is approaching 2 from the left is equal to limit when x is approaching 2 from the right, it's equal to 1. We have limit when x is approaching 2 is equal to 1. Okay, we have D, limit when x is approaching 3, f of x equals. We will find first limit when x is approaching 3 from the left, f of x equals. This is 3. When limit is approaching 3 from the left, f of x will equal to 0. Limit when x is approaching 3 from the left, f of x is equal to 0. Our domain of the function is from -1 closed bracket until 3 closed bracket except y equals 1. When we want to find the limit of x when it's approaching 3 from the right, we want to come from the right. But unfortunately, the domain doesn't exist after x equals 3. So we cannot find limit when x is approaching 3 from the right. So limit when x is approaching 3 from the right, f of x does not exist. Since limit of x when it's approaching 3 from the left is not equal to limit when x is approaching 3 from the right, limit when x is approaching 3, f of x does not exist. Question 27. For the function f of x graphed here, find the following limits. If they do exist, give your reason. سؤال 27. للدالة f of x المرسومة هنا أجد التالي. النهاية إذا كانت موجودة وإذا كانت غير موجودة مع ذكر السبب. We have question A. Limit when x is approaching 0, f of x equals. This is 0. Limit when x is approaching 0 from the left, f of x will be 0. Limit when x is approaching 0 from the left, f of x will equal to 0. Limit when x is approaching 0 from the right, f of x is equal to 0. Since limit when x is approaching 0 from the left is equal to limit when x is approaching 0 from the right, which it is equal to 0, then limit when x is approaching 0 f of x equals 0. Question B, limit when x is approaching 1 f of x equals. Limit when x is approaching 1 from the left. This is y equal 1 or f of x equal 1. Limit when x is approaching 1 from the left, f of x is equal to 1. Limit when x is approaching 1 from the right, f of x equals. This is 1. Limit when x is approaching 1 from the right, f of x is equaling to 0. Since the limit when x is approaching 1 from the left is not equal to limit when x is approaching 1 from the right, we have limit when x is approaching 1, f of x does not exist. We have question C, limit when x is approaching to 2, f of x equals. Limit when x is approaching 2 from the left, f of x equals. This is the point of y equal 2. Limit when x is approaching 2 from the left, f of x is equal to 1. Limit when x is approaching 2 from the right, f of x is equal to 1. Since that limit when x is approaching 2 from the left is equal to limit when x is approaching 2 from the right. Limit x when it's approaching 2, f of x equals 1. Question D, limit when x is approaching 3, f of x equals. This is the point of 3. Limit when x is approaching 3 from the left, f of x equals 0. Our domain in the function is from negative infinity open bracket to positive infinity open bracket, except y equals 1 and y equal 3. X is approaching 3 from the right. We are coming from positive infinity and we are approaching 3 from the right, so f of x equals 0. Since limit x when it's approaching 3 from the left is equal to limit when x is approaching 3 from the right, limit when x is approaching 3 equals 0. In these questions, we have limits of polynomials and limit of rationals and limit of radicals. في هذه الأسئلة عندنا نهاية من كثيرات الحدود ونهاية من الكسور ونهاية من الجذور. بعض هذه الأسئلة تحتاج تعويض مباشر، وبعضها تحتاج تحليل للمسألة، وبعضها تحتاج انطاق مقام. Some of these questions needs a direct substitution, and some of them need factorizing and simplifying, and some of them need to multiply the root by the congregate. We have question 28. Limit when x is approaching negative 2, x cubed minus 2x squared plus 4x plus 8. This is a polynomial, so we will do a direct substitution. So limit when x is approaching negative 2, we will do a direct substitution. Negative 2 cubed minus 2 multiplied by negative 2 squared plus 4 multiplied negative 2 plus 8. This is equal to negative 8 because it's an odd power, so the negative is the same. Negative 2 squared is equal to 4 because the power is even, and negative 2 is multiplied by positive 4, so it's equal to negative 8. And negative 2 multiplied positive 4 is equal to negative 8. 8 will go with positive 8, and negative 8 minus 8 equal to negative 16. Question 29, we will do a direct substitution. Limit when t is approaching 6. F of x equals 8 multiply 6 minus 5 multiply t multiply 6 minus 7. This is 1 multiplied by 8, and this is negative 1. So 8 multiply 1 is 8, and 8 multiply negative 1 is negative 8. Question 30, we can do direct substitution and also we can simplify. Actually, I prefer simplifying. So we have here 6 and 5y. We need a number that we can multiply it and get a multiplication of 6 and an addition of 5. So 6, let's try 3 and 2. 3 plus 2 is equal to 5, and 3 multiply 2 is equal to 6. So limit when y is approaching 2, y plus 2 over y plus 3 multiply y plus 2. We can cancel this. 1 over y plus 3. So limit when y is approaching 2, 1 over 2 plus 3 is equal to 1 over 5. Question 31, we need to simplify. We have limit when y is approaching 5, y minus 5. Y squared minus 25 is equal to y minus 5 multiply y plus 5. We can cancel these together, and it's equal to 1 over y plus 5. Limit when y is approaching 5, 1 over 5 plus 5 is equal 1 over 10. Question 32, we need to simplify the equation. Limit when x is approaching negative 3, x plus 3 over. We need a number. When we multiply it, we have a multiplication of 3 and their addition is 4. So let's try 3 plus 1 equals 4, and 3 multiply 1 equals also 3. So x plus 3 over x plus 3 multiply x plus 1. We can cancel these together. It's equal to 1 over x plus 1. So limit when x is approaching negative 3, 1 over negative 3 plus 1. It's equal to 1 over negative 2. Question 33, we need to simplify the equation. Limit when x is approaching 2, x squared minus 7x plus 10. We need a number, its multiplication is 10 and its addition is negative 7. So let's try 5 and 2, but negative 5 and negative 2. Negative 5 minus 2 is negative 7, and negative 5 multiply negative 2, and negative 5 multiply negative 2 is equal to positive 10. So x minus 5 multiply x minus 2 over x minus 2. We can cancel these together, and it's equal to x minus 5. Limit when x is approaching 2. 2 minus 5 is equal to negative. Limit when x is approaching 1. X squared plus x minus 2. We need two numbers. Their multiplication is negative 2 and their addition is positive 1. So let's try 2 and negative 1. 2 minus 1 is 1. 2 multiply negative 1 is negative 2. So x plus 2 multiply x minus 1. X squared minus x. When we take x as a common factor, we will have x multiply x minus 1. We can cancel these together. It's equal to x plus 2 over x. Limit when x is approaching 1. 1 plus 2 over 1 is equal to 3. In question 35, we need to simplify the numerator and denominator. X squared plus 3x plus 2. We need two numbers. Their multiplication is 2 and their addition is 3. So let's try 2 plus 1 is equal to 3, and 2 multiply 1 is equal to 2. X plus 2 multiply x plus 1 over x squared minus x minus 2. We need two numbers. Their multiplication is negative 2 and their addition is negative 1. So negative 2 so let's try negative 2 plus 1 is equal to negative 1. And negative 2 multiply 1 is negative 2. So x minus 2 multiplied by x plus 1. We can cancel these together, and it's equal to x plus 2 over x minus 2. Limit when x is approaching negative 1. Negative 1 plus 2 over negative 1 minus 2. It's equal to 1 over negative 3. In question 36, we will multiply by the congregate. Square root of x squared plus 100 plus 10 over x squared plus 100 plus 10 out of the root. When we multiply the two roots together, we will cancel the root. Limit when x is approaching 0. When we will multiply the two roots together, we will cancel the root. So we will have x squared plus 100. Negative 10 multiplied by positive 10, we will have negative 100 over x squared multiply square root x squared plus 100 plus 10. We can cancel these together, and then we will cancel x squared with x squared. To 1 over square root x squared plus 100 plus 10. Limit when x is approaching 0, 1 over square root of 0 squared plus 100 plus 10. It's equal to 1 over square root of 100 plus 10. It's equal to 1 over 10 plus 10. And it's equal to 1 over 20. From question 36 to 39 we will multiply by the congregate. من سؤال 36 إلى 39 راح نضطر إننا نضرب بالمرافق. Question 37. Limit when x approaching -1. We have square root of x squared plus 8 minus 3 over x plus 1. We will multiply by the congregate, so square root of x squared plus 8 over x squared plus 8 plus 3. So when we multiply square root by square root, the square root will be cancelled, so we will have x squared plus 8. -3 multiply positive 3 is -9 over x plus 1 over x plus 1 multiply square root of x squared plus 8 plus 3. This is equal to x squared plus 8 minus 9 is equal to x squared plus 8 minus 9 is equal to x squared minus 1. Over x plus 1 x squared plus 8 plus 3. X squared minus 1 is equal to x minus 1 multiply x plus 1. We will do a direct substitution on our new equation, so it will be -1 minus 1 over square root of x squared minus 1, so it will be -1 squared plus 8 plus 3. So it's equal to -2 of -1 squared is 1 plus 8 is 9. So square root of 9 plus 3 equal to -2 over square root of 9 is 3. 3 plus 3 is equal to -2 over 6. And it's equal to -1 over 3. Question 38. Limit when x is approaching 1. X minus 1 over square root x plus 3 minus 2. We need to multiply by the congregate. هنا راح نحتاج اننا نضرب المرافق وننطق المقام بنفس الوقت. We have x minus 1 multiplied by square root of x plus 3 plus 2 over square root multiply square root. The square root will be cancelled, so x plus 3. -2 multiply +2 is equal to -2 multiplied +2 is equal to -4. This equal to x minus 1 multiplied x plus 3 plus 2. X plus 3 minus 4 is x minus 1. So when you install the limit, we have 1 plus 3 plus 2 is equal to square root of 4. So limit when x is approaching 1, we have square root of 4 is 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. Question 39, we will multiply by the conjugate. Limit when x is approaching negative 3, 2 minus square root of x squared minus 5 over x plus 3. 2 multiply 2 is 4. Negative root multiply positive root. We will cancel the root, but the negative will be the same. So negative x squared. Negative will be installed in x squared minus 5. So negative x squared minus 5 is positive 5. Over x plus 3 multiplied 2 plus a square root of x squared minus 5. Negative x squared plus 4 plus 5 is equal to negative x squared plus 9. We will take negative 1 as a common factor. We have x squared minus 9 over this. Limit when x is approaching negative 3, negative 1. X squared minus 9 is equal to x minus 3 multiplied x plus 3. Plus 3 and x plus 3 will be cancelled. X minus 3 over 2 plus square root of x squared minus 5. Now limit when x is approaching negative 3, negative 1, we will install the limit. So negative 3 minus 3 over 2 plus square root of negative 3 squared minus 5. So negative 1 multiply negative 6 is positive 6. 2 over square root of negative 3 squared is 9. 9 minus 5 is 4. So square root of 4. So it's equal to 6. 2 plus square root of 4 is 2. So it will be 6 over 4. We will divide it. And we will have here 2, 3. And we have 3 over 2.